want to talk about leadership in the church, because this is where the rubber hits the road. And that's where our heart is working with pastors and leaders. And what we've done with the model of the church to push us, so many of us, away from being able to Sabbath is heartbreaking. AJ says this. He says, what if the church became the best place in the world to learn how to rest? This would be an exhausting world, friend. That's what he said. Think about that. This is what he said about his own Sabbath keeping. And he said, up until the time I thought Sabbath keeping was selfish, and I thought that I did rest, it was a sign of weakness. And he said, when I did rest, I thought it was a sign of weakness. Then I had the epiphany of a lifetime. I had been trying to be selfless. In helping everyone else, I had forgotten myself. I had become the preacher of the gospel who needed the gospel himself. And worse yet, I subconsciously thought God wanted me to forget about myself so I could serve others. But that is not the gospel. Jesus loves me too. I could love others only to the extent that I could recognize God's love for me. I could see the needs of my community only to the extent that I admitted my own needs. I could care for God's people only to the extent that I allow him to care for me. In forgetting all this, I had neglected to care for the body of God that God had given me, the spirit he breathed into me, the soul that he molded with his own hand. Man, that's an awakening that AJ had, that all of us in the body, especially those in leadership. Now, if you're in leadership, it's a great reminder. If you're not, then that means you're supporting those in leadership and you're being discipled. And it's important for us to be able to capture the reality of what's happening. He said this, he says, teach someone to not Sabbath and they will be hostile to it and pass that along to the next generation. Teach someone to Sabbath and you will raise up a generation that knows how to rest in the presence of God.